The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were an unstoppable monster butt-kicking team. But behind the scenes, these teenagers with attitude were fighting against some forces too dark for Saturday morning kids' TV. Perhaps the biggest tragedy of the original Power Rangers was the death of Thuy Trang. In the first 2 seasons, Trang played Trini, a brainy and athletic teen who was gifted the powers and spirit of the saber-toothed tiger when she transformed into the Yellow Ranger. Between 1993 and 1994, Trang appeared in a total of 80 episodes before exiting the series. After that, she only appeared in 2 more projects, Spy Hard and The Crow: City of Angels, before leaving acting behind entirely. Trang never appeared in another project. In 2001, the actor was killed in a fatal car accident when she was only 27 years old. Decades later, in 2023, Trang's Power Rangers co-stars reunited for the 30th anniversary project Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, which paid perfect tribute to Thuy Trang. This hour-long special centered on Trini's daughter, Min, who takes up her mother's Yellow Ranger role.
Whoa, it actually worked!
You're a ranger!
A legit ranger!
Longtime Power Rangers fans tend to agree that out of all the Rangers in the series canon, none are more impressive than Tommy Oliver. Jason David Frank first appeared as Tommy in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as the Green Ranger, only to become the White Ranger, Red Ranger, and Black Ranger in his time with the franchise.
To the fall of Zordon and the destruction of the Power Rangers!
He was the original team's first secret weapon, eventually became their leader, and later transitioned to a mentor role for future Power Ranger generations. Ultimately, Frank appeared as Tommy in over 200 episodes of the franchise, with his final performance in 2018. For Power Rangers fans everywhere, there was no tragedy more heartbreaking than Frank's death. The actor died by suicide in 2022, having struggled for some time with mental health issues. Following her husband's death, Tammy Frank told People magazine, "Jason was a good man, but he was not without his demons. He was human, just like the rest of us." Frank's final live-action performance was in the Power Rangers-inspired feature film Legend of the White Dragon, which was originally scheduled to be released in 2024 before post-production delays pushed it back. As one of the longest-running original cast members of the franchise, fans wondered for years why David Yost, who played the original Blue Ranger Billy, left the show after Power Rangers Zeo. He finally gave an answer in a 2010 interview with no pink spandex.
I walked off set one day, and the reason that I walked off is because I was called one too many times.
Yost explained that the writers, producers, and directors made fun of him for his sexual orientation while on set. The vibe he got was that he couldn't be gay and be a superhero. Leaving Power Rangers gave the actor the opportunity to get a handle on his own life and work through his own mental health struggles. For decades, Yost kept the franchise at a distance, refusing to return for specials or guest appearances, until 2023, when he came back for Netflix's reunion special, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. Austin St. John may have been the face of the original series, having brought the Red Ranger Jason to life, but his behavior off-screen was anything but superhero-like. In 2022, St. John was arrested for COVID-19-related fraud after receiving over $400,000 in Paycheck Protection Program loans. In May 2024, the actor was found guilty of 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. But this isn't the only controversy the original Red Ranger has found himself embroiled in. That same year, St. John was called out by his former co-star Amy Jo Johnson for a clothing brand he announced that pulled quotes from different warriors throughout history, including Adolf Hitler. When the clothing line, which St. John later rebranded as Wise Leader, launched in April 2024, there were thankfully no Hitler quotes to be found. Instead, Wise Leader features only positive historical figures, as well as some of the actor's personal heroes, including Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. In 1995, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was hit with a ban in Malaysia, but not for any reason you'd likely guess. It was because of the word morphin in its title. Of course, longtime fans know that morphin is really just another word for the transformation the Rangers undergo from being normal teenagers into superpowered superheroes, but that's not how Malaysia took it. Evidently, morphin sounded too much like the word morphine, which raised some immediate red flags. After initially banning the series completely, the country eventually decided to allow the show to be aired, provided the aforementioned word was deleted entirely. While it's unclear if the word had to be removed from every individual episode, Malaysia relented on Power Rangers as long as audiences didn't think the children's series was promoting drug use. Though Power Rangers merchandise was all the rage in the mid-90s, the series was criticized by some parents who deemed it too violent for their children. A 1994 New York Times piece quoted one concerned parent who believed the show sent a message to children that violence is a great way to solve problems. The very same article noted that 25% of the show contained violent action sequences, a number that prompted the Canadian channel YTV to remove Power Rangers from its lineup. But Canada wasn't the only country concerned about this then controversial topic. Power Rangers was also removed from the air in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark after a young girl was killed in an incident completely unrelated to the show itself. The Los Angeles Times reported on a study that said kids who watched the series were 6 times more likely to resort to violence when dealing with conflict.
Some of you guys might think I'm out there looking for trouble, ready to get in the fight. That's not what I'm about. That's not what martial arts is about.
Still, Power Rangers survived despite protests from some and has since built a 30-year legacy that stands strong on its own. Starring on Power Rangers came with some pretty undesirable working conditions, mainly concerning compensation. The cast struggled to earn a living wage while working on the show, despite filming 40 episodes before the series even aired. The pay was so bad that Austin St. John was forced to live in his car for a time after he left the series. Even before that, he couldn't afford a place of his own. The actor told Entertainment Weekly in 2018, "Walter Jones and several of the stunt guys, we moved into the same house to try and save money because we weren't paid well at all." In a 2012 interview with No Pink Spandex, Amy Jo Johnson let the cat out of the bag.
Literally, we were being paid, I think, like top $600 a week.
Due to low pay and poor working conditions, the Power Rangers brand ultimately became known for its frequent turnover, with the entire roster of Rangers rotating out every season or two across its 30 years on the air. Though Mighty Morphin Power Rangers started with 5 teenagers with attitude, the franchise grew far beyond the heroes who fans first fell in love with. Never was that more clear, though, than in the 2-part Passing the Torch episode, The Power Transfer.
A power transfer? Is it possible?
It is possible, but very difficult.
About halfway through the show's 2nd season, Austin St. John, Thuy Trang, and Walter Emmanuel Jones left the Power Rangers to join a global peace summit. But why? Well, the simple answer is that the original cast wanted to be paid more, and Saban Entertainment wouldn't play ball. St. John told the Huffington Post in 2014, "I could have worked the window at McDonald's and probably made the same money the first season. It was disappointing. It was frustrating. It made a lot of us angry." Sadly, there wasn't much the leading stars could do about it. Once the power transfer was complete, the 3 stars never appeared on the original series again. If you always thought it would be fun to party with the Power Rangers, then you should have lived in Los Angeles in the mid-90s. Back then, you may have had your chance. According to Walter Emmanuel Jones, he and his roommate/co-star Austin St. John threw wild Hollywood parties regularly. He told the Huffington Post in 2014, "We had pool tables, we had a trampoline, we had a huge Burmese python that was 12 feet long, and we'd just have a good time." Sometimes, the pair would come home to find around 150 people in their home in Glendale, California. David Yost described these parties as more of a frat house, but noted that they always produced the most memorable stories. According to St. John, "We had some parties that were so big. Inevitably, somebody would call the police and a helicopter would show up and put a spotlight on the backyard where we had a volleyball net." As much as we loved Thuy Trang as Trini, the truth is that she wasn't the first actor to play the Yellow Ranger. When Saban Entertainment was still trying to sell the Power Rangers to Fox Kids, the production had cast Audrey Dubois as Trini for the first attempt at a pilot episode.
At the time, the audition was called Dino Rangers. It wasn't Power Rangers.
The former ranger explained that Trini was originally written as a scaredy cat who couldn't fight to save her life, but all of that changed when Dubois impressed the producers with her karate moves. She opted not to continue with the series, though. She was unsure if she wanted to pursue acting as a career and didn't want to uproot her life for the opportunity. Dubois left the series without saying goodbye to the new friends she had made, forcing the show's producers to recast her role and reshoot the first episode. It's a decision that still haunts her decades later.
That wasn't cool. I wish I could have done that part over.